is the way we feel right now, the way our limbs are tangled and bound up in our cords, slipping away back into the vegetable gardens underneath their mangled body ties. Our fathers are blatantly cold when we pray to other men's names through climax cries or head over knees at a woodblock altar in the back of our homes. These days, children seem to know less and less about where they come from or where they are going from here, point A to point Z. I can feel the wind a little harder when it hits me if I have been forgetting the mothers my mother's mothers came from. I forget to drink heavily and remember to drive winsome. There are days where I forget fish and their currents and hot concrete roads from Texas to the Carolinas to the big cities of Africa to the tides of their shore down south. Back home, there is no place for us to sleep in the quiet. Ghosts are moving about the air like electric eels, running between the outlets and bedposts and table chairs. Haunted is a word that does not come easy, but we are spooked now and living between the beds until we can say our mother's name. And if we've forgotten, we won't move till our sorries cry out louder than we do. If we cannot be heard, we will never be found again. Enigmatic fools are a wicked burden on an unwashed, unclean soul like ours. Praying only makes the hard days harder, and being haunted is a worryful way to pass on and on and on, and blood is only a little deeper than our skin. But it's been drained from the bodies of the people of the past, washing in with rivers until we cannot see the blood and the water, but we know it is dirty and running from us as fast as it can go. The second piece is the first chapter in a story that I have been working on. It's called The Night of Marianne. And a special thanks to Veronica, who can't be here right now, but helped me write this for like the past 8 weeks. So she's in Romania with her girlfriend. It's a great excuse, but props to her. 1. The wedding comes to the town on its way to the ocean, picks up the people, their presents, and they are all swept out to sea. The wedding leaves the bride, Marianne de Paolo, on the beach, the flowers that were in her hands now strewn in her hair, black and wiry like hay. The smell of sea salt will never leave her body, sticking to her like the pang of her vow. The sun winces as it drips down the sky and disappears behind the ocean. The bride on the shore wonders if she will ever make it back home and if her husband is somewhere lost in the tangles of the ocean, whose sick laugh hits the shores again and again in a madness that is deafening, and she is mute from the sound. Marianne de Paolo walks the beach for 7 nights before she finds her voice hidden under the belly of a seal. It sleeps on a rock on a cliff too far above her head, and she wishes her Isaac was there to help her stand higher. Upset at the sight of the cliff, she builds herself a tent for the night, and oh, how she wishes the ocean would leave her. It has caused her enough anguish already. A town mother at the wedding told her that she would bear 7 daughters, each named after the other, and that made Isaac happy. That made her happy too. Slowly through the gritty sounds of the night, the air and its brush, the trees and their howls, starfish crawl up the shoreline and fall into the lap of the bride, and they string themselves together like a tether between her and her lover. They pull her out and drown her in the waves as she sleeps. Her blood boils and spills out of her in the water. She wakes, she struggles, she yields to the rhythm of the gibbous moon song washing in and out of her. Isaac is calling her name up through the bottom of the water, but all she can hear is the sadness in his voice, and it scares her. She swims up to the air, and the pollock-splattered sunset, and moves straight out towards the middle of the ocean, the starfish trailing behind her, following her movements. In the middle of the ocean, there is only water around her. She does not float next to an island with a cooling atmosphere. There is no port nearby to bear her a shelter or a night of content. No ice to neglect her tenderness, no animal to guide her out of the center. She floats in from dawn to day to dawn again, squirming in ellipses for hours upon hours, and her mind begins to unravel. If the edge of loneliness is somewhere in a world alone, how can we ever be without the company of men and the fidelity clocks ticking to the end of the week, the month, the next one? And if we are so vastly lost in this ocean of all oceans, this place of no sinking and no falling, is perfection only as perfect as its words? How they are mixed up in a pan and letters are left next to each other to be forever called the one thing of perfect, or simply not real. It's so foreign, and this place is the center not the core and its being wrapped up like a fiery candy underneath everything we stand on but the center. As in, it's the eye of every hurricane whipping up the land and sprinkling the soil of China and the bowels of Argentina, displacing every male and female counterpart in homes not like the ones they had before. No hats, no bed, no kitchen, no light, and no matches to try. To begin again is to speak after a long time of not